Here is a question that sounds simple and turns out to be very deep. What makes a statement true? The traditional answer, the one most people accept without examining it, is called the correspondence theory. An idea is true if it corresponds to reality, if it accurately mirrors or copies what is actually the case in the world. The statement water boils at 100 degrees Celsius is true because there is a fact in the world that it matches. William James thought this answer was not wrong exactly, but radically incomplete. In his 1907 lectures on pragmatism, he pressed a follow-up question that most philosophers had neglected. What does correspondence actually mean? What does it mean for an idea to match reality? What is the nature of this matching? And how do we know when it occurs? When you pursue this question seriously, James argued, you find that correspondence is not a simple relationship between an idea and a static fact. It is a process. We verify ideas. We take them into experience, we act on them, we check whether they lead us effectively through the world. The true idea is not the one that has some mystical contact with eternal fact. It is the one that works, that guides action successfully, that coheres with other things we know, that leads us to further truths and away from confusion. From this James drew his famous and explosive formula: the true is only the expedient in the way of our thinking, just as the right is only the expedient in the way of our behaving. Truth happens to an idea. It becomes true, is made true, by events, by the process of its verification in experience. This formulation scandalized the philosophical world. Critics, most notably Bertrand Russell and G. Moore, accused James of collapsing truth into usefulness, of saying that whatever is convenient to believe is true. If a comforting religious belief makes someone's life better, does pragmatism say it is true? If a false belief leads to happiness, is it therefore true? These objections were sharp, and James spent much of his later career addressing them. His responses were more careful than his critics usually acknowledged. James did not say that any belief a person finds convenient is therefore true. He was explicit that truth must satisfy constraints. It must cohere with the rest of what we believe. It must withstand the pressure of continued experience. It must be verifiable in principle even if not always in practice. A comforting life fails these tests. It eventually collides with reality in ways that force revision or produce confusion. What James was attacking was the picture of truth as a static correspondence between idea and eternal fact, a picture that made verification irrelevant and that could not account for the actual process by which human beings come to know anything. He wanted to bring truth back into the flow of human experience, to make it something that human beings do rather than something that simply exists independently of them. His concept of verification was subtle. He did not think every true belief needed to be individually verified by direct experience. Most of what we believe we hold on credit, trusting that it has been verified by someone, that it coheres with things that have been verified, that verification would be possible if required. The credit system of human knowledge is vast and generally reliable. But verification is the ultimate court of appeal. When credit runs out, we check against experience, and experience has the final word. James also introduced the important idea that truth must be good to believe, and by good he did not mean merely pleasant. He meant intellectually good, accurate, reliable, coherent, productive of further knowledge. A true belief is one that pays its way in the economy of thought, that earns its place by doing genuine cognitive work. This is different from a belief that simply makes us feel comfortable. Feel-good beliefs that do not hold up under scrutiny are not true by James's standards, whatever their other virtues. The deeper implication of James's view is that truth is not fixed and complete. The universe is still being made, and truths about it are still being made. New facts create new truths. New problems require new ideas, which, if they work, become new truths. The process of truth-making is ongoing, collective, and revisable. No final inventory of truth will ever be complete because the world whose truth we are tracking is not yet finished. This picture of truth was not merely abstract philosophy for James. It was a liberation from the paralysis that comes from believing truth must be certain before action is justified. If truth is made by acting, then action is itself a form of truth-seeking, and courageous commitment to an uncertain course is not a betrayal of good thinking. It is part of what good thinking requires. Subscribe to The Psychology of William James to explore more of his timeless ideas.